Welcome to Spencer FYI on Spencer Channel 3, and we are here today talking a little bit about the DARE program, and you guys have a fundraiser coming up for that. But first off, let's talk a little bit about the DARE program in general. This has been going on here in Spencer for a number of years.
Yeah, the DARE program, going back like some big time history here, 1983 is when DARE actually started. It was started in Los Angeles. The chief of police at that point in time realized that the community, more so the school kids, did not have a connection with law enforcement. So we created this program that allowed officers to come in to teach students just basic, simple things, but it also was a huge way to break that wall down. I can only imagine, coming from big city kids, and we have a wall, but it's nothing as big, I'm sure, as some other departments have. And that program's been going on ever since then. Back in 1983, I was only 3 years old, so I don't know what the program was like back then. Nowadays, it's 10 weeks long, giving some really basic, simple stuff to these kids to help protect them, to keep them safe and responsible. Things that, in my opinion, that parents should be doing, teachers should be teaching them. But when you look at it, if it's a beam of information laying on that student's ear, that first person who gives it to them, it kind of maybe sits right here. You get it from a second person, it pushes it in a little bit further. Some kids need that beam pushed in a few more times. Some kids need only a couple times. But it's just a different perspective from somebody else, giving them, like I said, some basic stuff to keep them safe.
All right, so what are some of the things that are covered?
Okay, so old school DARE was all drugs and alcohol. That's what you talked about. New school DARE talks about the two topics or two substances they feel that you're going to run into as a youth, and it's tobacco and alcohol. If it's peer pressure coming from somebody that is close to your age asking you to do it, if it's self-pressure, maybe you have parents that drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes and they're not pressuring you, but you're wondering as a young adult, should I try this? Should I not try this? If you can get the basics behind that, they feel that you should be able to have then the basics behind all of it. Because we do talk about ways to get out of situations. I mean, we all know, and we've all been through the middle school days, the high school days of knowing those parties where that alcohol is going to be, and just ways of getting out of things so you don't have to be involved and still maybe look cool, or like, I don't want to do this, and coming up with a reason or a fact of why you don't want to do this. The other thing that we talk about, one of the other things we talk about, is bullying. Something, again, when we were kids, there was some of that going on. There wasn't necessarily a term coined for it, but ways to help a classmate out. Okay, we may not ever be able to stop it. I would love to have it stopped 100%, but what can we do then to help that student that can't help themselves? And we talk about becoming a bystander into a good citizen, where we're helping out a student, but talking about ways to get that information to a trusted adult in a safe way, so then the bully doesn't turn and come after them. So there's a lot of good just life lessons coming out of the DARE program, things that can also benefit you if it's a criminal activity. I always use the example of baseball cards. If you go to Walmart and decide to steal baseball cards, you can use all this information for that, for making fun of somebody. I mean, it's just good, easy information that can be applied to almost everyday life.
All right, so what age students are you reaching with this program?
The program in Spencer is geared for 5th grade. When the school switched a few years ago, moving 6th grade into the middle school, we felt that it was very important to make sure that our grade schoolers had this information prior to going into middle school. I think when you're in middle school, you are a young adult. 5th grade's the doorstep of young adulthood. Let's get it to them as quickly as possible. The curriculum, so DARE America's curriculum actually extends from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. But because of time constraints, you would have to have a couple full-time school resource officers to be able to teach both the middle school, because there's a middle school's curriculum, there's a high school curriculum, there is the 5th and 6th grade, the grade school curriculum, and then the K through 4th. So it would take a lot of man hours to do the program 100%. But the core curriculum is for the grade schoolers, the 5th and 6th graders.
All right, so you reach all 5th graders in Spencer, no matter what school?
No matter what school. Yeah, we have 6 classes at Lincoln, 1 class at Sacred Heart, and 1 class at Iowa Great Lakes Lutheran. If I remember correctly, we were at about 188 students this year. So what we are actually going to do starting next year, because that's a lot of students to take an officer from the street to teach them, is I'm going to get a partner in crime. Some people know who Darren Hansen is, was an officer with us for many years, chose to try some business-related opportunities, and now has come back and said he would enjoy helping out. So we're going to split the classes. So instead of 8 to 1 person, we'll have 4 classes apiece, and we'll see how that works out this year.
All right. And so how is this program funded here in Spencer?
So the program itself, when it comes to the t-shirts and the booklets, so the kids get free t-shirts and free booklets out of the deal, that is actually paid by the state of Iowa. If I follow correctly, all OWIs, there's a small percentage of the fine that comes back to DARE Iowa, which then in turn supplies the shirts and the booklets. The one thing that we do here on the police department is our way of saying congratulations is getting these kids up to Arnold's Park each year to have a drug-free day, a fun day, without having to worry about the pressures of alcohol, tobacco, or any other drugs. And so that is our biggest expense. And so that is why we do this fun run that we have coming up here, is to raise the money to get these kids up to Arnold's Park. And we do. We make it a day. We've done it now Saturday. We did the 6th graders this year because they got rained out last year. So we did that on Sunday. I got to give props to the 6th graders. They rocked it. I was a little nervous because it was the first time we've ever done this. Those 6th graders, we had about 100 of them. Did awesome. We had a great time Sunday. The Saturday before, we went with the 5th graders. And again, that was a great time there as well. But we need to raise money to make sure that we can get these kids up there each year to have a good time.
All right, and so that is your fun run that's coming up. And how many years have you been doing the fun run now?
So this is going to be year number 5. It has been a hit every year. Those numbers kept growing. Last year we plateaued. I think we were with 1 or 2 from the year before, which is fine. The numbers are phenomenal. Each registration form, I'd like to think that money will go directly towards a student. So it is not just for us, it's for the kids, and it's not just the Spencer PD. Really, all I'm doing is facilitating an event, okay? It's the community who's coming out saying, we would like to participate in this to help our youth out. I can say for a fact 100% that the money raised goes to the kids. Like I said, the Arnold's Park trip is one of the bigger events that we do. Last year we had a little extra money, so we in fact bought goggles that you can wear that we would allow the high school students whenever we did a presentation to show them different levels of intoxication, to let them know that driving while intoxicated is not smart at all. You know, so we do use it in different locations, but it does go back to the kids.
Are you currently looking for sponsors for the race?
Right now we are in the process of looking for sponsors. So the reason we would like to have sponsors is to offset the cost of the t-shirts. And that way we can say the participants in that, their money is going towards the kids. But every year we have such a great businesses here in town who sponsor that there's always extra money off of that. And again, that goes right towards the kids, right back towards the kids. So yes, we're looking for a few sponsors yet to offset the cost, which is the t-shirts. That's it. The rest of the stuff, which will have slushies and sausage sandwiches again, those are donated by Fairway for the sausage sandwiches. Dino said that we can use their slushy machine. It's cool to work for a community that's willing to give.
All right, and so then the other thing you need, of course, is people to register.
We need people to register, yes. That is our biggest thing. It is so cool to see the amount of people there. Last year and the year before, we were right at about 170 participants, which for me is just phenomenal for Spencer, Iowa. We need the participants. Easiest way to get a registration form, it took me like a day and a half to figure it out, but go to our Facebook page. There's actually a tab on the event that you can click. You'll have to print it yourself. I'm still trying to figure out how we can maybe do it, pay it all online, but I was happy that we can at least, you can print it off at home, get that, and then turn it back into the police department. The other ways is they can stop down at the police department, talk with our secretary. She'll be able to get a registration form or email me directly.
All right, and you take all ages, right? Children can participate as well as adults.
Yes, we've had little kids that have ridden their bikes. That's the other thing we put on there, that if they want to register their kids, but know that their kid isn't going to be able to walk or run 3.5 miles. If they want to take a bicycle, they can. Kids are a little bit cheaper than the adults. Kids are $10 for the event. The adults are $20. We have not changed that rate yet and don't plan on to this year.
All right, and again, finding those registration forms, there's lots of different ways of doing it.
Yes, and the Facebook way, in my opinion, is the easiest, the quickest. It's right right there. So like our page, but on our page we also have a lot of different information that comes out. We had the fireworks, some information there, tree dump stuff when we had the flooding last week, and stuff just to let the citizens know what's going on.
All right. And we probably should mention when and where this is taking place this year.
Good call on that one. August 4th, so we're down to about a month away, August 4th. The only difference this year is that we're going to do it at East Leach Park instead of West Leach. Going to do it under the shelter house just in case we have bad weather. That kind of came into my back of my head as much rain as we had. According to the predictions, the rain should be down. We're going to use the same part of the train, or the river should be down. It's going to use the same part of the trail. If by chance that river is still up, we're going to come up with a secondary route that will still start there.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for letting me be here.
And thanks for joining us. We'll be back next.